A very warm welcome to TV47 News Updates on this 24th day of January 2023. You're just in time for the afternoon news and we have so much lined up for you. Remember, you can always interact with us on our social media platforms indicated at the bottom of your screen. Now, with that said, my name is Dennis Otieno. I trust you're doing well. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, on to our top story this afternoon. The tribunal created to probe the conduct of the 4 dissenting IEBC commissioners entered day 2, with immediate former chairman Wafula Chebukati taking the stand. Chebukati has revealed that Commissioner Irene Masit agreed to the request by former Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju to manipulate the results in favor of Azimio presidential hopeful Raila Odinga. Now, Chebukati says Amos Wako and Raphael Tuju visited him and had 2 requests regarding the presidential results. The agenda of the visit was to try and convince him to skew the results in favor of one of the 2 leading presidential candidates to avoid a crisis. Take a look.
Honorable Raphael Tuju, he was at that point in time a cabinet secretary in the previous government, and he came there on behalf of the Azimio party.
And did Azimio have a presidential candidate?
Yes, it had a presidential candidate and also a chief agent.
They had a chief agent?
We had agreed that any issues which involves candidates should be raised by chief agents.
There must be a bigger reason why you didn't want to meet them alone.
3 a.m. in the morning and 3 gentlemen to discuss elections. I think that was reason enough.
You had people who wanted to bribe, technically, the commissioners to subvert the will of the people.
Yes.
Members of Parliament have for the second day stormed out of their induction meeting at Mombasa following alleged delays in the disbursement of the Constituency Development Fund CDFs for bursaries expenditure in their respective constituencies. They have also slammed claims that the CDF funds are politically affiliated and want the government to act fast, or else they cease from any parliamentary business.
We will not attend a meeting and our constituents are suffering. We want our students to go to school. We want 100 million to give bursaries to our students, and failure to which we will start impeaching people in this house. We don't want to joke with the lives of our students, our people, of the poor in the constituency. It is pure balderdash to come and entertain nonsensical, comical, and ridiculous activities being done here while our people are suffering. I know what it means to lack school fees.
This morning, we have been given communication from Treasury whereby the PS does not have an answer on this issue. And we want to be very categorical. Without CDF money for schools, for the poor children to go back to school, we have no business to discuss anything. Our irreducible minimum to every constituency from today is 100 million shillings to be put into the account and communicated to us, not to be given stories. I cannot return students to school using SMS.
Kuna watu hawana pesa kabisa, hata kwa form 1 kuanzisha hawana, wanangojea CDF. Sisi kwetu elimu yetu iko kwa ICU. Mnajua data iko, inaweza angaliwa data iko. Tunategemea CDF ndo tufanye mikakati mingi kuboresha elimu. Unapata paka kwa ward, mtu mmoja tu ndio amepata C, ward nzima. Au Lamu East yote hakuna hata B. Sasa sisi tutafanya nini without CDF? Lazima tupate hiyo pesa na isituregeshe nyuma zaidi. Tuna mikakati kabambe, tunataka kuajiri walimu, tunataka hiyo walimu wanaajiriwa hata kwetu haijafika ile na idadi ambayo tunataka.
On this matter of CDF, we don't have any party affiliation.
Exactly.
We have got a common stand that this money must be disbursed. Don't forget that these same people lied to us in December that they would disburse 2 billion shillings every week. We are now on week 8. We should have had 16 billion shillings disbursed, which means every constituency by now should have had a minimum of 80 million shillings. And we are saying today here, unless we get 100 million shillings per constituency, we are not going to participate in any parliamentary business going forward. We are not going to leave Mombasa, and we are not going to sit in any induction without the money in our accounts.
A section of legislators from Murang'a County are calling on the Ministry of Finance and Treasury to release more funds into the National Government Constituency Development Fund in order to facilitate issuance of bursaries to needy students. According to Kigumo Member of Parliament Joseph Munyoro and his Mathioya counterpart Edwin Mugo, there is a huge number of needy students who need assistance to report back to school, but the 7 million shillings released by the government is not enough. 100 students received bursaries in Mathioya as the Member of Parliament promised to issue other students with bursaries once more funds have been released.
The remaining funds for the bursary, because they have only released 7 million Kenya shillings, we want them to release the balance so that this coming week, all the students can report to school on time so that we can be able to uplift the education standards of this constituency.
Kuna madarasa ambayo bado hayajakorogwa, chini ni mchanga, na ziko huku kwa shule zetu za Kigumo, na hizo pia tunaona tunastahili kwanza kuzijenga ndio watoto wetu wao wanasomea mahali pazuri. Na tunajua hata tukiwajengea shule nzuri watoto watafanya vizuri. So kama hiyo NGCDF board inaweza achilia pesa za miradi za hii mwaka, sisi tuko tayari.
Sasa tunashukuru sana. Na hata tukiomba serikali iongeze pesa zaidi ili iweze kuchukua watoto wengi zaidi. Kwa maana huko nje watoto wengi sana wanapotea kwa sababu ya kukosa pesa. Wengine wanaenda day school na wako na max poa sana.
Now to a sad turn of events in Kiambu County, where 3 children lost their lives and 1 is nursing serious injuries following a fire outbreak in Uthiru, Mudhure and Wangige areas in Kabete constituency. Speaking after the incidents, angry residents condemned the firefighting department for the alleged delay in putting out the fire. Confirming the incident, Kabete Sub-County Police Commander Joseph Murioki said sleuths from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation have commenced the investigation to unearth the genesis of the infernos.
Jana afisa bili ya moto ambaye moja ilitokea hapa within Wangige area, wakati mama moja ambaye ni mama wa watoto wawili aliwasha watoto sababu anauza kahawa pale Wangige market. Wakati alikuwa shughuli zake za kuuza kahawa ndio moto ikatokezea kwa nyumba, na kwa hiyo kisa tulipoteza mtoto moja, yule mwingine akaumia sana akapelekwa hospitali. Wameenda kuchukua samples zile watapata kwa hiyo scenes ndio tupate kiini cha hiyo moto.
Toka nje ndio tujaribu kuzima moto. Kujaribu kuzima moto, hii milango ni ya mabati. So stima ilikuwa ishashika. Kila mtu alikuwa anaguza anapigwa shock. Kila mtu anaguza anapigwa shock. Sasa hatukufaulu kuvunja mlango. Wakati tulifikiria mambo na kuzima stima, watoto mmoja alikuwa ameshawezwa. So tukizima stima, mmoja alitolewa akiwa maiti na huyo mwingine alipelekwa hospitali. Mpaka wa saa hii tujajua ripoti yake, lakini alikuwa ameungua vibaya.
Zilikuwa nyumba mbili separate, 2 different nini. Moja ilikuwa 1 bedroom, nyingine ilikuwa kama single hivyo. Wakati tulianza kuzima moto ndio tuliingia huko ndani kujaribu kutoa zile vitu zimebaki, ndio tukapata watoto ndani.
Now, the Watamu Association of Boat Owners and Operators has refuted reports by the county government of Kilifi that the ill-fated boat involved in an accident on Saturday was overloaded. 3 people died in the accident and 1 is still missing to date. Now, the boat owners wonder why the county officials have not bothered to visit the area of the accident and verify the information and condole with the operators, but have since gone ahead to issue a statement with unverified statements. The boat owners and operators are also now demanding for rescue boats to be stationed in the area because of the busy season.
Boti yangu kulingana na Maritime inapakia wageni 35 include captains. Lakini siku hiyo nilikuwa na wageni 28 including captain 30. Na tulipoenda Outside the Reef bahari ilikuwa shwari, lakini upepo ukatokea baadaye, boti ikazama.
Na tuwapeana pole kwa familia zote na jamii na marafiki waliofikwa na misiba ambayo ilitupata kwa siku kama hiyo. Tuna masikitiko kwa barua iliyotolewa na kaunti yetu ya Kilifi ya maelezo ambayo hayakuwa sahihi.
Ni kwamba sisi tungependa uongozi wa Kilifi County, serikali na mashirika kwa jumla, kama wanataka kupata evidence maalum au husika ama data kamili, sio kuja na kufuata labda watu ambao hawahusiki. Sisi ndio watu husika hapa katika eneo hili la Watamu Blue Bay ambao tunafanya kazi ya utalii.
Elsewhere, renowned lawyer Miguna Miguna has defended President William Ruto's victory of the August general election, asking Kenyans not to be deceived by those who are against his election as the 5th president of Kenya. Speaking in a session with students at the Kemu University, Miguna said the perception of last general elections being characterized with irregularities is a false statement set to deceive Kenyans despite the elections being free and fair. He said what happened to Raila Odinga was deception, that the presence of the deep state would help him win the last elections as an issue, or rather an issue which he has strongly opposed.
Prepared. I want to say that. For Dr. Miguna, please. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
There was no dissent. It would require incredulity for anybody to say that all these Supreme Court judges were somehow remotely through osmosis, hijacked, abducted, then somebody wrote their judgment and proclaimed the results. Or that they were complete idiots. We know that they are not. Right? It would also be quite remarkable for someone to say that all these people were bribed. Then it means the people have power. That is encouraging. It means in politics, money does not win. Weapons do not win. Ruto was the only deputy president I'm aware of, other than Miguna the civilian, who was stopped from flying where he wanted to go. He wanted to go just to Uganda. Wasn't he stopped from going?
Now shifting focus from politics to matters health, where the Ministry of Health has flagged off 4 trucks of assorted health, water, sanitation and hygiene supplies to ASAL regions to prevent the spread of cholera, which has so far affected 4,186 Kenyans, leading to 78 deaths. Speaking during the launch, Health CS Susan Nyakumincha said cholera has continued to affect many Kenyans since the first case reported in October last year. Some of the 14 counties include Nairobi, Kiambu, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Kajiado, Murang'a, Homa Bay, Machakos, Garissa, Wajir and Kitui. The flag-off of the commodities are projected to sustain the affected counties ahead of the launch of cholera vaccine rollout next week. CS Nakumincha was accompanied by her EAC and ASAL counterpart Rebecca Miano, PS Public Health Dr. Josephine Boro and representatives from the German Embassy and UNICEF.
And also to manage our day-to-day situation on matters healthcare. Even as we continue doing our best to respond to cholera outbreak, we have continued to experience other important public health issues. These have called for energies to be focused on effective surveillance and preparedness for any eventualities. In September 2022, Uganda reported Ebola virus disease outbreak. Given the geographical proximity of our country to Uganda, this outbreak posed a clear and present risk to our own population. However, 2 weeks ago, we were happy to receive news that the outbreak had come to an end without crossing into the country.
My ministry is working very closely with the Ministry of Health and our development partners, non-state actors, Kenyans of goodwill, to ensure that we surmount this drought situation and the effects of climate change. And we look forward to working on longer-term and resilient ways of ensuring that in future we even respond better.
We are going to the places where the crisis, the drought hits very hard right now. And and I want to assure you that Germany and Europe is on the side of Kenya and all the East African countries that are so heavily affected by this crisis. We are talking now about the 4th and the 5th rainy season that might not deliver as much rain as necessary for a solid agricultural production. And this is of course affecting mainly the children and the women and the fragile parts of the population in the remote areas.
So we hope that along with the supplies, the efforts that is already underway would go a long way in ensuring that we have a preparedness but also a response strategy together with a resilience approach to address some of these areas in ensuring no child is left behind.
And still on matters health, Migori County Assembly Committee on Health Services has faulted the Health Department for the poor service delivery and the wanton corruption at the county's referral hospital. Speaking during an impromptu visit at the facility, Committee Chair George Ombama noted that the hospital is understaffed and lacks important equipment, including a functional oxygen processing plant that's only serving a few members of the community, as others are forced to seek medical care from other counties. However, the executive member in charge of health, Julius Awor Nyerere, downplayed the allegations, asking for more time to restructure the operations given that they have only been in office for 3 months.
I'm being told that in the next 3 days they may lack even the vitu za kuweka kwa mkono, the gloves, and very necessities that are very important. They are doing refilling. I don't know in Kisii, I don't know in where, for yogis to ensure that there is a continuous. But we have realized there's a challenge of that because right now there is only a number of patients that they can admit here, just because of the issue of oxygen. Others are being sent to other areas.
On to the issue of oxygen, currently the facility has an oxygen plant that is broken and is under the maintenance process, and we hope that within a few weeks it should be running.
Problems cannot be solved in one day, and we are in the process of ensuring that we make this place as comfortable as possible for our patients.
Water scarcity has hit Monyo, Mogoga and Gatunyaga villages in Thika town, with residents now demanding for immediate supply of the commodity. The residents claim that the local water distributor Thika Water and Sewerage Company, Thiwasco, has not been doing enough to feed them with water necessary for their domestic use. Led by Mary Waithera, the residents decried that they have been consuming salty water that has not only been a health hazard to them, but also lowered hygiene at their homes.
We have not been getting water, and if you get water, it's the salty water. When we cook tea, prepare tea, cook food, the tea changes color. And when it changes color, automatically, if you take that tea, you don't know the outcome inside your body.
Ile maroli inatuuzia maji, roli moja ni shilingi 8,000. Na unajikuta kwa mwezi unatumia roli kama 2 ya maji. Kwa hivyo inakuja kama 16,000.
It is quite an unfortunate situation in Kiambu County, having salty water like the residents are complaining right there, saying that despite the fact that they're cooking tea, which is supposed to be sugary, the tea comes out tasting a little bit salty. We are hoping the administration of the county government of Kiambu are going to sort out the issue as soon as possible. Now it's about time we get to Matters Sports.